Majors Julien and Nicolas, could you tell us a little bit about the troops that we've just seen parading on the Champs-Élysées?
We've just seen all the different schools for the non-commissioned officers. Just before this image, we had the French Air and Space Non-Commissioned Officers Academy, which is the school where all the technicians of the Air Force are being prepared, but not only, obviously, to repair the plane and the choppers of the Navy and the Army. They are sending their soldiers and their sailors to the French Air and Space Academy.
And clearly very important job. You being a major in the French Air Force, can you tell us a little bit about your pathway to how you got into this work? I mean, we'll be talking also about the young people who have taken part in schools that kind of place them into these jobs. Did you know that it was something that you always wanted to do?
Well, as far as I remember, I think more than 30 years ago, I might have seen a jet just above my head, and it made me dream. So I had the chance to join the Air Force in 2008 in the French Air and Space Academy, and then I go through all the steps to become a fighter pilot, and I've been a Rafale fighter pilot for 10 years now, and I'm still flying for almost 2 or 3 years, but I'm getting old, and the youth will take my place in the following years.
And what's the difference between the kinds of training that you have to go through to fly the planes that we saw in the air parade a little earlier, and then for the helicopters that we're about to see?
It's really, really different. At the beginning, we are not a fighter pilot, we are just a pilot for planes, either transport or fighter. And the choppers it's a completely different formation since it doesn't have any wing. It has a propeller which is above and not in front of the engine. So that's completely different.
All right, and I think we're also going to see border control, members of the border control also parade in Paris this Monday. Is that usual?
Well, I think it's the first time. Traditionally, at the end of the parade, there's the police and the firefighters are marching as well, and this year the customs also take part to the parade.
A huge point of pride, as you mentioned, Philip, really showing off France's military might, especially in the given
I think actually that the fact that border staff are parading is a message also to other countries in Europe, because as we were just saying earlier on, there have been these discussions last week in London between Britain and France. A lot of those discussions centred on illegal migration into the UK, which is a bone of contention between the French and the British. The British seem to think the French are not doing enough to stop the small boats from crossing the channel with migrants in. The French are saying this is part of a European problem. It's not just a French problem, and it needs to be dealt with on a European level at Europe's borders, part of the Schengen borders. So I think that the fact that we have border control staff who are taking part in this march down the Champs-Élysées today is underlining the fact that they are playing a very important role. This is a challenge that not only France but many European countries are facing, and it's now time for Europe to come together to find some kind of solution to get this problem under control, which is not going to be easy.
Yeah, it's not only the problems between France and the UK, though, is it? I mean, there's also been resumed border checks in Germany, Lithuania, borders with Poland as well. So this is, it seems, a problem that is coming up again in Europe.
And not just, as you said, in France, certainly a problem in Greece, certainly a problem in Italy, where many migrants are coming into the country. There's this new one in, one out system that has been discussed between France and the UK, where a legal migrant will be taken into the UK in exchange for an illegal migrant coming to France and then being sent back to their country of origin, or the country where they first came into the European Union under the Dublin Agreement. Well, that's something those countries don't want, because they don't want these migrants being sent back, for example, to Italy, to Greece or elsewhere, because they don't want to have to deal with that problem. So this is certainly a European issue, a European discussion that's taking place right now, and France is right at the heart of it, because if there's going to be a discussion about migration, it nearly always centres on the migration issue between France and the United Kingdom. But of course, that's not the only one which affects the European Union.